Hey everyone, so today I have a video using my hot foil machine for the first time. Actually, that's not true, for the second time. This was the first time I created anything using any different techniques. So the first time I did it, I just did basic sentiments and I used it on the cards from a previous video. Here's some samples. And today I'm going to do 5 techniques. The first one is some basic sentiments. So I'm using some Spellbinders hot foil sentiment plates, and then I'm adding some gold foil with a pretty side down. I've then added black cardstock. I'm using this for 20 seconds on the low setting, and I've already warmed up my foil press. After the beep, I then put it through my Gemini Junior to add the pressure, and then I mount it back and click it back into place, and then I take a look at the result. This gold foil is from the actual foil press, so it came in the package. And there's a little bit of extra foil, so I decided I would use an eraser and try and remove the extra foil. And I did do that with my sand eraser here, but I also made the cardstock go a little bit grey. So I think if I'd used either a standard eraser or a less heavy hand, that would have been better, but absolutely gorgeous with the gold on the black. I then tried to do a second bundle and I used exactly the same foil plates, lined up exactly the same way, but this time I used some of the blue, I'm not sure if this is called teal perhaps. This is Spellbinders Glimmer Foil, and this is gorgeous. So you will see that I used exactly the same settings. It's 20 seconds on low, and then I put it through my Gemini Junior once. I didn't have any extra shim or any extra cardstock. I just used it as is, and this turned out absolutely perfectly. There was no need to do any erasing. Beautiful and perfect first try. Now the black cardstock that I'm using here is very smooth and quite heavy, and you can see I just showed you an example there of it on the white, and I did do some with the craft and I die cut it out with the matching dies. Technique number 1 was a success. Technique number 2 is some basic word dies. So these are not intended originally for hot foiling, these are for die cutting, but the line that die cuts creates an absolutely gorgeous foiling outline. This is a very different look to hot foil plates because it's really quite subtle and narrow, but I have seen other people give this a try and I thought, why not? I will give it a go. So I'm using the blue foil again and the same black cardstock. I did it for exactly the same duration, so it's still 20 seconds. And then I'm putting it through my Gemini Junior, and then we will see the result. Absolutely gorgeous. This color, the blue color on the black, looks amazing. So you can see here that, it doesn't cut through, but it's definitely noticeable when you look at the foil. Now I'm peeling it off, and look at that. That is so awesome. It is so impactful in real life, and honestly, I didn't have to do anything fancy at all, so technique number 2 was also a complete success. For technique 3, I used a cover plate die. So this is physically bigger and really did have more surface area to heat up on my foil press. Now, my foil press plate, because I'd been using it for a little while, was a little bit buckled. It sort of has bent a little bit. So I was a bit worried that I wasn't going to get full coverage and that I wouldn't get, a beautiful foil impression of the entire cover plate die. I've used exactly the same settings. I've just run it through once. There's no shim. And this came out a little odd. So you can see here that it truly cut through. I have little pieces of foil all over the place. And I was able to peel this off in the end, but I really just thought I'm going to put this aside and I'm going to have another go. So for the second time, I used black cardstock, and this cardstock is about 80 pound in weight, and my white cardstock was the Nina 110 pound, which meant it was a little bit heavier, which I think contributed to why it cut through the foil. So I've used exactly the same heat settings, exactly the same pressure. There's no shim or anything. It's just the different weight of the cardstock between the white and the black. So here I'm peeling this off, and apologies, I'm off screen here. So I tried to grab a little bit of a zoomed in view, but I'm peeling this off and you can see that it's absolutely gorgeous with the blue on the black. And here I've zoomed in on, this is the the white with the blue, and that ended up all peeling off perfectly, and it is an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous panel. I will turn that into a card. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with that just yet. In terms of the next technique, for technique number 4, I used more of a detailed die. So it's quite small, like it's smaller than a cover plate die, but it has an outline and then text in the middle. So I've used the blue again and then the black. So this is exactly the same as the full cover plate die, but it's smaller and a bit more detailed. It has "You've got this" written in the middle. So I thought I would experiment a little bit and see if I got the same result from this one. So I'm just feeding it through my Gemini Junior again. And then let's see how this one turns out. I was not expecting this. So when you pull the die off, it's very, very, very hot, so be careful. For this one, you can see I got a bunch of overfoiling. So there is extra blue pieces, extra blue foil everywhere. I tried to use a standard eraser to remove it. I had learned my lesson from my first technique, but it just was not enough. There was so much overfoiling that it didn't work. So I got a little bit ambitious again with my sand eraser here, and I did remove the foil, but when I show you a zoomed in version of this, you'll see that I actually have really made a mess of the black. So instead of black cardstock, it's got a very much a shadow grey halo all around the die cut. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one. I'm sure I'll figure out a way to recover it, but that did not turn out as well as I had hoped. Now for technique number 5, this is something I was very excited about, and I've called this negative foil. So this is using the Pink Fresh full plate, and the intent of this plate is when you've when you've hot foiled an image and you have the leftover foil, you can do the negative foil straight onto some cardstock. So the example that I have here is the technique number 1, leftovers. So it's about 5 different sentiment foil plates that I have already foiled, and this is the leftover piece. So I have put it on for 20 seconds on low still. I have fed it once through my Gemini Junior, and this is going to take a little bit of experimenting because it's a much bigger area and there's a lot more foil that's left on the piece. So when I checked it, it had not removed the foil. There was still a lot of foil when I tried to peel back the clear release paper. So I thought what I'll do is I'll put it through a second time. I'll heat it up again. I'll put it back through my Gemini Junior, and then I will see if I peel it back, if there's any improvement. Now there was not an improvement, so I've put that aside and then I've started again. And here I'm using exactly the same style of leftover foil piece. I've added some white cardstock. This is the 110 pounds, so it's heavier. So I thought, let's try with the heavier cardstock and see if that extra pressure means that I'm more likely to get a better result. I also ran it through my Gemini machine multiple times because I thought that might give more continued pressure. So here I actually put it through 3 times. I think this is the only time I tried it 3 times, but let's see how we go and if that made a difference. So I've got my outline here. I'm peeling it off camera, my apologies, and no. So I had high hopes for it, but it did not work. I have added an extra piece of cardstock as a shim, and I do swap this around just to make sure that the shim has full coverage over the back of the panel. I then heat it up again. So for this one, I've actually heated it up once and then gone through the die cut machine 3 times, and then I've heated it up again, and then I'm going to take it back through another 2 times. So it's literally gone through my machine twice and been heated up, through my machine 5 times, and it's been heated up twice. So after I removed this, I was really hoping that this was going to be successful, and luckily It was. So you can see my excitement here as I rustle the little clear cover, and this is absolutely gorgeous. These foils are such beautiful colours, and you can see here where they've been die cut. You can see the negative and the positive. They're both gorgeous. So from one piece of foil, you'll get two sets of sentiments, which is absolutely amazing. Given I had some success, I thought that I would try again, and I just wondered, do I really need to do it twice, and do I really need to send it through my machine 5 times? So I thought, is the shim the thing that actually made the difference? So I've done this for 20 seconds on low again. I do have the extra shim, and then when I put this through the die cut machine, I think I put it through the machine twice. So let's just double check and see how good my memory is. We put it through once. Yep, then we're going to go through twice. And I thought maybe it's that extra pressure of the cardstock shim that is what made it be successful on the previous attempt. So here we go. I'm very hopeful that I am getting used to my machine and the settings, and I very confidently peeled off the foil, the plastic off the foil, and no. So I do need to do some further experimentation, but I had a really fun time. I was very nervous about using my hot foil machine for the first time, and I absolutely loved it. I tried a few techniques. I've got some great sentiments to use on some future projects. I will put a couple of links here to other videos that I think you might enjoy, and I highly encourage you to get out your foil machine. And if you don't have one and you're looking for where to find it, I'll put some links in the description below. Have a great day.